can type your answer in the chat box. I'm sorry, my screen got. I'm sorry. You can. Can you type on the chat box? How do you buy shoes? Okay, screen not visible. Sorry. I hope it's now visible. Online.
It's visible now, yeah.
Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yeah, yeah.
From shops. Yeah. Okay. From shops, we check comfort and brand. Okay, that's a very good answer. Comfort and brand. Visiting shops and showroom. Visiting shops. But what do you do when you visit shops? Yeah, somebody says size, color, comfortness, season to wear. Or so I just most common answer. Pick the best. What else do you do? Size, shape, color. That's a very good answer, Chirag. I go to the store, meet the shop attendant, the preference, ask, tell them my preference, check size, color. Yeah, I think we've got the answer. You can identify my requirement, Vishal. That's a very good answer. So I think all of us, it's a very something which all of us around have done. We've gone to a shop, we have told the shop attendant our size, looked at our preferences, what we like, what kind of shoe, whether it's sports shoe, school shoe, official shoe, casual wear, and then we have gone ahead and selected our pair of shoes. But obviously we have also tried them on, we have checked them comfort and fit, and today many of us buy online also. There also I need to go through all the processes, and I also need to know my size, and once it gets delivered home, I try them on, and if they are not fine, I have the option of returning them and asking for a next size or a different design, whatever. So that is how we buy shoes. Okay, something which is, I think all of us have bought multiple pair of shoes. We own at least 2 or 3 pairs of shoes for each one of us. Okay, so that's how we buy shoes. Now let me ask the next question. How do we choose careers? How are you deciding on choosing careers? Interest, lifetime interest, totally depends on your lifestyle. Something we are good at. Okay, very good. Knowing your person, interest, time available, money. Have proper counseling based on interest, according to interest, aptitude, prospect, suits your passion depending on our preference, suits me and my goal. I think again, many of you are also saying that what suits my interest, my goal, what's my passion. Somebody says money. Okay, I think those are very, very good answers, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. By which stream we like and what we are good at. I think those are very good answers. But I would also like to tell you, and this is what has been told. All of us have heard of Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, IIT Bombay. Okay, so this gentleman is the director of IIT Bombay. So IIT Bombay is one of the top IITs in the country and one of the top engineering institutes in the world. What also happens is that while none of you have said that, but there are friends, there are family, and there is societal pressure. So the friends, family, society has expectations out of all of us. Okay, whether we are at your age or you are at my age, there are expectations and pressures by all these, my friends, my family, and my society on me. And that also, in a way, plays a way in my deciding what I want to do, okay, or my actions. And I also counsel many students like yours. And when I ask them this question, and when I ask them in one-on-one situation, the first thing they say obviously is their interest and their passion. They also say that it also around what money they will make. And some students are very clear. They want to do whatever helps them to earn the maximum amount of money. And this I am telling you from my personal experience of counseling many students like yours. Okay. So that is also a fact. We also have to be aligned to the reality of expectations of society and family and friends, and also our need to, and some of us feel that we need to earn as much money, or the career which gives us the most amount of money is one we should go to. So these are realities which are there, and I just wanted to share this with you. Having said that, let me ask you this question now. Can you name some problems which you see all around you? And today, one problem all of us are going through till for the last 1.5 months is very clear in front of us. Okay. What else do you think are your other problems? So obviously coronavirus is a problem. Okay. But beyond that, what else are the problems which you want to highlight? In confusion, somebody says confusion, inferiority complex, confused, okay, study stress, very nice, very good, time management, lack of decision making, peer pressure. Yes, these are some of those. Gap between rich and poor. Yes, discrimination at some places, stress, okay, study load, economic stability. Yeah, so for a moment, can you just look outside yourself, in the sense other than your study load and your pressure and your time management issues? What are the larger problems around you? Judging, yes. What are the larger problems around you? Hunger, poverty, how to learn a market requirement, poverty, capitalism. Yes, yes, yes. Some more scarcity. Environment, pollution, and waste management. Very good, Vishal. Poverty, unemployment, discrimination. Yes, dirty politics, absolutely. Orthodox thoughts, job availability, very correct, right, Kendrick. Lack of attention to minorities, absolutely. Okay, so generation gap, right careers, unemployment. I think all of you are bang on. I think that is where all of us are at injustice. We see all this around us. We hear this in the news, in the television news. We read in newspapers. We hear it. We read it online. And so, let me tell you, there are some sustainable goals which the United Nations have done. These are called Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Okay, and there are 17 of them. So these are sustainable goals which the United Nations, yeah, UNSDG, yes, this the United Nations has identified, and many of the things which you have said, poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, economic growth, inequality, pollution, climate, peace, justice. I think many of you said all of these. And all of these are what the UN also has identified as the 17 sustainable goals, which as a global community we need to solve. And these are big problems. None of them are easy problems. Okay. So who will solve this problem? Who will solve this problem? Yes, you will solve the problem. People like students like you who are at the verge of making a decision of what to do, these are the problems you need to solve. These are the problems which are the real large problems which requires intelligent and sustained effort. So when we make our decisions about what we want to do in life, somehow we must also keep in mind that whatever we do has to go and help solve some of these problems. In a very, we may be able to do it in a very small way in our own, with our own effort. We join with others, we can create a much larger impact. So our job is to figure out how to play a role in these large problems, and how the career or the course or whatever we do helps in some way to solve these large problems, because these problems are there, they're real, and they need solution, and there is no dearth of opportunity in so we may talk of job of employment opportunity and all of that, but there is no lack of opportunity to solve these problems. These problems are there, their problems have to be solved, and there is no lack of opportunity there. So if anybody tells you there is lack of opportunity, you can tell there are lots of problems which require solution, and hence whatever I am doing is going to solve them. So let me come to some specifics. If I let me take, let's say I will take only 4 of these: health, poverty, sustainable cities and community, peace and justice. Okay. So if I take health, okay. So can you tell me what kind of professionals are required, or what kind of careers and subjects are required to being able to make a impact in the health area? What kind of courses and subjects and professions you need to choose to make an impact in the area of health? Nutrition aid science, doctors. I think doctors have done a wonderful job, and the medical staff in the times which we are living in. Nurses, yes, doctors, nurses, biomedical. Okay. Trainers, psychologists. Okay, let's shift to psychologists for men. Let's shift to sustainable cities. What kind of professions, or what kind of professionals can help us to build sustainable cities and communities? Anyone? Engineers, electrical, automobiles, government, resource planner. Okay, anyone else? Architects, yes, absolutely. Engineers of all types, computer scientists, government, environmental engineers, politicians, absolutely. Politicians are important. Police, okay. Activists. Good, everyone. So municipalities, government, authority, government officials with authority and associated with government. Fine. So let us go and see, and there are the other 2 also. Without spending too much time, I will go and let's see. So when I talk of health and well-being, you are hearing lots of discussion about the ability to bring out a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus. Who does that? Those are the pharmaceutical companies and the research scientists who do that. Health services, doctors, nurses, you all said. But there is also, I'm sure you have also seen the Arogya Setu app or heard about the Arogya Setu app. Please see how that is being used. That's a data. What is it doing? It is helping us to map who's the affected person around us and take action. So data science is coming in. So while we may think data science is only linked to engineering and all of that, but its use is in health and well-being, insurance. So the entire ability to ensure the health of a large section of the population, so that if they fall sick, they are able to get medical help. That is a very important thing. So financial services, insurance, they all come into this area. So it is not only health services, doctors and nurses, or pharmaceutical research, but other allied areas which come in here. Okay. Similarly, when I talk of sustainable cities and communities, it is like somebody said, architects. So I'll call it urban planning. So architects and urban planners, obviously, but then you also require people who can design, who can design efficient buildings, who can design efficient cars, who can material scientists, who can tell us what kind of materials to be used so that it is energy efficient. Okay, and we also need people who can tell us, like somebody said in the first chat, how to handle our waste, how to take care of the ecological balance. So we need environmental engineering. And it's not only all engineering, and we need communication. We need communication specialists, people who can, we can have any number of scientific advancements or technology advancement, but ultimately the people have to adopt it. The people have to take part in it. So you need communication specialists, which makes it easy for people to understand and adopt. So as I said, in health and well-being, it is not only health services, other sectors. Here also, it is not only architects and engineers, it is other people also will. So whichever profession you join, you can find a problem to solve. Okay, it just, you don't need to be a doctor or an engineer to solve a problem in health science or sustainable cities. Similarly, when I'm talking of something like poverty and hunger, huge. If you saw, the first point of SDG was alleviating poverty. You may have people who will produce food and nutrition, but you require teachers who will teach so that people can upgrade their lifestyles. You need social entrepreneurship. You need the NGOs and an organization like that who help the government to reach the underprivileged. And you need to have people of knowledge of economics, of how to take actions which lifts a large mass of the society above the poverty level. So you need to frame policies. You frame to influence the government's policies, influence the ability of the financial institutions to help the poor. So you need knowledge of finance and economics. So it is not only the agriculture, it is knowledge of economics, knowledge of social entrepreneurship. All of that is required. So similarly, if it's peace and justice, you may want people with a degree in law or psychology, maybe very in a direct role, but people who are journalists, who help us to know what's happening around the world, who inform people about the injustices that are happening. They play a very important role for the authorities to take action, for all us to be aware and take necessary actions, maybe force the government to change, all of that. Okay. Politicians play a very important role in this entire spectrum. It plays a very important role in sustainable cities and communities also, somebody said. And public services. If you're a civil servant, if you work for the government, you have lots of actions to take to help peace and justice to prevail. So the point I'm trying to make is, it is always better to identify the large problem areas which you want to handle, and then see the course which you want to study, how it goes and solves that large problem. Okay, where you want to apply, you can apply any of these 17 areas which are large problem areas, and there will no dearth of work. There will no dearth of work if you can apply your knowledge to solve these problems. These problems are large. They are not going to go away in the next 20, 30, 40 years. They're going to be there. They may come down, but Next 40, 50 years, this problem is going to be there. Some of them may increase. Okay. So let me now get to, this is a very famous, I'm sure many of you have seen this particular model of Ikigai. This is a Japanese model, very famous Japanese model. It's an intersection of what you love, what the world needs, what you are good at, and what you can pay for. So I spent some time on what the world needs. Okay. We also need to find out what you are good at and what you love. Okay. And what you can be paid for will come. So I would first tackle these three and then come here. Okay. Because once I identify what I'm good at and what I love, and if the world needs that, I'll get paid for it. Nobody can stop me from getting paid for that. Okay. So did have any one of you? I saw one person sharing bunch that they have seen. Anyone had seen this model earlier? Any one of you have seen this model earlier, Ikigai? Yes. Okay, some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. That's fine. So this is a very simple model. It's very widely applied. You can just Google up and see for yourself. Very, very, very simple to understand and very useful to apply. Okay. So to find out what I am good at and what I love, okay, I also need to know what are my interests, what are my values and motivations, about my personality, about my skills. So I need to know all of these. Okay. And obviously where you are based out of, who are your immediate contacts, what kind of people you have access to. So if I am born in a family of sports persons, okay, obviously I am going to be influenced by having sports persons around me. So that's going to be a large importance. But I also need to find out that is that my interest, and does my personality suit my being a sports person, and am I skilled enough to become a sports person? Do I have the personality? Does it interest me? And am I skilled enough? Okay, I need to figure that out. Okay, so so that those are things I need to keep in mind. So the way what we do at Jamboree is that we try to assess you on 3 parameters, which is aptitude, personality, and interest. Okay, these are 3 parameters on which we try to help you to understand what you are, what kind of careers you should choose. Okay, so let me tell you what does aptitude mean. Aptitude is a very simple thing. I think all of us have taken aptitude tests at some point of time in our life, which is numerical aptitude, which is nothing but maths, simple maths. Verbal aptitude is here. It is language concept of English. Okay, English being the language all of us. Otherwise, we may have different mother tongues and different languages, second languages, but English is most of us have studied as one of the languages. Then mechanical aptitude, concept of machines, how machines work. Spatial aptitude is how shapes and patterns and figures work. I'm sure all of you have solved those kind of quiz questions where you have to match a pattern. If you're given a few shapes, you have to find out the missing shapes, or you have to choose among 4 or 5 shapes given, which is the shape which is going to be the next answer. So that's spatial aptitude. And reasoning aptitude. Reasoning aptitude is how logically you think. So depending on situation and given three, four probable answers. Which which probable answer do you think is the best solution? That measures your ability to think in a logical way. So these are the 5 aptitude: numerical, verbal, mechanical, spatial, and reasoning. We check it. They're all checked from about for 10 minutes each, and you are asked to solve some multiple choice questions. Okay. So if I just come to what kind of careers are suited for specific aptitude factors, these are kind of some of the, if you have a high numerical aptitude, you can easily get into these sort of careers. Okay. And similarly for others. So if I have a good spatial aptitude, I can become a designer, architect, sculptor, animation specialist. I need to understand how shapes and patterns work. Okay. Next is something called personality. What do I mean by personality? There are 5 factors of personality which are checked. Okay. This is also, you can Google it up. It's called the Ocean model. O stands for openness. C stands for consciousness. E stands for extroversion. A stands for agreeableness. N stands for neuroticism, which is basically how calm or how anxious, how your balance between being calm and being anxious. Okay. So can you move to the previous slide? Yes, I can. Yeah, this is the previous slide. Harshay. Okay, Harshay. Can I move on, Harshay, now? Okay. Okay. So if you please use the chat window, and so that I keep my eye on that. Okay. Next is the so so don't use Q&A, use chat. Yeah, we conduct tests. Somebody, Prashanti, we conduct tests. I will come to that. Yes. So I'm showing you the things which we do in our test, Prashanti. Okay. So when I say consciousness, it is between how, so we are, all of us have different types of personality. So you will see some people who are very organized. If they have to go, let's say, for a vacation, they will plan everything to the last T, which flight they will take, when they will get down, which hotel they will stay, which after that what day 1 what they will do, day 2 what they will do, which from they will hire a taxi beforehand, they will hire a tourist guide beforehand, and they will even plan where they're going to have their meals. They are going to do that amount of planning. Those are very, very organized, and some people are not that organized. Okay. Similarly, some people are very disciplined and impulsive. So you can see what does each of these mean. Okay. And let me tell you, there is nothing right or wrong. This is how we are. We are all human beings. So as human beings, all of us will have different personalities. There is no right or wrong here. Obviously, if you are more in neuroticism, if you are more calm than you are anxious, it helps us. If I get anxious, or I become nervous, or I do self-pitying, it does not help me. So being calm, being organized, being composed is good. Okay. Whereas I can be an introvert or I can be an extrovert. It doesn't matter. It is how I am. There's nothing right or wrong in that. Okay. It always helps if I am helpful vis-a-vis uncooperative. If I am trusting vis-a-vis suspicious. So those are some of the things which we should try. But as I said, as human beings, we have various we have various personality traits. Okay. Next is if 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 I have a kind of personality, like if I am a between somebody who is very practical, realistic vis-a-vis somebody is imaginative and experimental, these are the kind of careers we can look at. Okay, these are also suggestions. Nothing. These are not. These are. I should never take them as sacrosanct. But these are more often than not. These suit better. So if you say anybody, so if you are focused and organized, any career is good because it's always good to be focused and organized. Okay. Whereas, and whereas if I am a extrovert, I may probably do better being in sales and marketing, being in politics, being in public relations. Where I would love, as a human being, I love to go out, meet people, make friends, have conversations, be on social media, take part in clubs and other forums, and be a part of teams. So there are those are personalities which are helpful when I get into some professions. Okay. Then I come. So we have covered aptitude. We have covered personality. Now we come to the third dimension, which is interest. What does interest mean? So this is also a very standard model used by people in the psychology field. It is called the RISEC model. R stands for realistic, A for artistic, I for investigative, S for social, E for enterprising, C for conventional. You can Google it up. You can also see RISEC model. Okay. So what does realistic mean? Realistic means people are doers. They want to use their physical strength. They want to use their hands. They are restless. They can't sit in one place. They want to try things with their hands. Investigative people are thinkers. They want to analyze and interpret things. Artistic does not need any more explanation. Social people are people who are helpers. They're one of the most important interest areas in the life is how do I help? How do I help others? So in whatever they do, they may be engineers, they may be IT specialists, but they're one of the key interest areas in their lives are how to help others. They can come from any field, but they are one of the interest areas to help others. Enterprising people who are persuaders, they're people who like to influence and lead others. So if you see a politician's job is to influence others, make others follow what he or she is thinking, and that requires very large ability of enterprising interest, being enterprising, being able to. So similarly, for a business leader, for a leader of a company, he or she has to be able to persuade other people to follow his or her path, because only by directing people to do, people will not follow. You have to persuade them, and with the right logic, reason, and maybe personal involvement and personal role modeling. You have to influence people. Conventional people are organized. People who want to organize and manage data. You will see people there. Everything is in place. They want every data you want is there. So very high conventional. They're very organized. They want to keep everything in their control. There should not. They're very good with data. Okay. So these are people who are conventional. These are 6 personality types, interest types, and hence these are 6 interest areas which are identified. So if your interest area is if your interest area is one of these, what are the kind of careers you can look at? And I think it is not very difficult to understand why these careers are being plotted against these interest areas. If you are an engineer or an architect, you better have you better have a high realistic interest area. Ultimately, you have to go out and and try things. Whatever you may design, but you have to try that out. You have to make it work on the ground. Conventional, yeah, if you see banker, financial expert, data analyst, people who love to work with data, they want to, they are able to work with data, and also they also need to have this investigative interest area, because it is a combination of both of these. So that's how. So now I will show you how some of these are actually used. Okay. So what it is used for is, the test which we do, we test these three areas: aptitude, interest, and personality. Okay. So that's the test which we do. It's a 1.5 hour test of 50 minutes of aptitude, about 20 minutes of interest, and about 30 minutes of personality. So that though all are multiple choice questions, and it's a 1.5 hour test, and you have to, it can be taken online from anywhere. Okay. So what you do is, after you give the test, you are mapped to some of these career clusters. So, and I will show you some actual test results of some of our students. Okay. So what does career cluster mean? These are large areas. For example, finance and banking. If finance and banking is indicated to me, finance and banking is a large area. It can include insurance, it can use mutual funds, it can include stock markets, it can use private banking, it can be credit cards, it can be anything. But it is very impossible for a test to tell you which exact area, but it can tell you that you should look at finance and banking as one of the areas. What exact area, you can figure out later. Okay. Similarly, engineering and technology, very, very large area. Whether you want to do mechanical, electrical, civil, chemical, that's all left to you. Whereas if you see, computer science is not a part of engineering. In this, computer science and IT is separate. Okay. So it is mapped separately, IT and computer science. Similarly, performing arts. Performing arts can be a whole range of things. It can be music, dance, fine arts, all sorts of performing arts. But it doesn't have the ability to tell you you should go to music and not go to dance. That is up to you. Okay, what you do with your particular interest area, your particular personality. Okay. I will repeat the information about the test. Krish, just hold on. So what the way you do is, you explore, you take an assessment, you find the right fit, you find the right course, and you get to the right colleges. That is what we here for: exploration, assessment, career fit, right course, right colleges. And we will show you some examples of how we do it. So what is our course college selection process? So what we tell students is that the earlier they start, the better it is. If somebody is in class 8th or 9th, it's the best time to start exploring about careers. And by the time you come to class 10, you give this test, and at 11th, you find out which tests you have to give, whether you are giving an SAT or giving some other tests. And then you find out in early 12th, you find the courses and colleges, and in the mid of 12th, you start, your applications are done. By the time you are mid 12th, your application is done. So that's the standard methodology which we use. Okay. Yet if you are in 12th, Shital, doesn't matter. We can do this. We can do this at any point of time, as long as you are starting class 12. Okay. But I am showing you because there may be students in 9th and 10th also here. I'm telling it for them. But in case you are in 11th and 12th, you can still do the test and get this done. Nothing stops you from doing that. Okay, Sheetal? Yeah. Okay. So I will do a case study of a twin. So this is how the sisters report. So when I'm saying I chose this case very knowingly, because they are twins. So everything, the family background, their education, everything has been similar. They went to the same school, and they're obviously in the same class 11th. But if you look at the scores of the sister, and which is, as you can see, she has very good verbal skills and reasoning skills, not very good numerical skills, okay, and mechanical and spatial skills. And she tends to be a little nervous, but she's also very focused and organized. She is neither very introverted nor an extrovert. She's neither very practical, not extremely imaginative, somewhere in between. But she's a very competitive person. It comes out like that. And when it comes to her interest profile, her interest she's large interest is to help people, but she also wants to lead people. Okay, she is moderately conventional and not very investigative and realistic. Okay, so if you remember the way I talked earlier, so that's the result for her. So this is the kind of courses or the career clusters which was found ideal for her, because she is enterprising, she was social, sales, marketing, mass communication, humanities, liberal arts, and social sciences came as options for her. Okay, top 3 options for her. Business management also came as an option. So what I will do now, I will ask Rajan, who's head of admissions at Jamboree. He will talk to you about some of the courses and college options for sales and marketing. Rajan, can you take over? In case any one of you want to know about the test, please leave your number on the chat box. We will get back to you. Please start leaving your numbers in the chat box. Prashant, can you unmute Rajan, please?
Yeah, so thank you, Shomu, for the valuable insights on this. So as far as the options as far as the sales and marketing is concerned, so a lot of schools outside India, or even some schools in India, do not offer a degree particularly in sales and marketing. So which means these sales and marketing comes under the degree called business management or business administration. So just to give you all a sense of some of the university options in various countries, just for your knowledge. Like for example, if you're looking at schools like Canada, so you have University of Toronto and University of British Columbia, which are the top 2 schools in Canada, which are offering business related degrees, followed with a lot of US universities, offering the Wharton School of Business at University of Pennsylvania has a complete degree on Bachelor of Business, which is among the top 5 universities or programs in the US. Indiana Bloomington Kelley School of Business in the US again offers a similar degree with a focus on sales and marketing, because the location where Kelley is located in Indiana, it is surrounded by 50% marketing companies in and around Bloomington. A couple of universities in Singapore in Asia are Singapore Management University and NUS, again very highly competitive universities. London or UK boast of the top schools like London School of Economics and the University of Edinburgh. And some of the examples in India, we have universities like Ashoka University in Sonipat, and then SP Jain School of Global Management has a detailed BBA program, offering degree in business administration, a triple continent BBA program, which is offered by the SP Jain School of Global Management in combination of Australia, Singapore and Dubai. So these are very unique options from across the world, where you can pursue a career in sales and marketing as a degree, which is a business administration or business management.
Okay, Rajan, I'll move to the next slide.
Yeah. No, as far as mass people who want to do mass communication or who want to pursue a degree in journalism or media studies, so there are a lot of good programs around the world offered in these fields, which are again offered by British Columbia and University of Toronto in Canada. NYU SCPS program offers a very good program in media, culture, and communication. Northwestern University, again in US, has a strong focus on communication studies, followed with Leeds and Cardiff University in UK, which are among top 20 schools in the UK for this program. Cheryl will take care of economics in the future slides. So we will give you some options for economics also. As far as India is concerned, we have the OP Jindal Global University and SRM University offering a very good course in journalism and mass communication. So, as someone was asking me in the chat box that what is the acceptance rate of Indian students. So if you have good profiles in terms of, your academics are very good and you have very good SAT scores, good extracurricular activities in your overall profile, you present these universities with good essays and letter of recommendations. So there is a high chance of you getting accepted even in these top schools, because as opposed to US, the universities in Canada, UK, Asia are very highly focused on academics. So the decision that they give you are on academics. If these countries are your focus areas for studying undergrad, so you need to have a hard focus on your academics, because these universities ask for like a 90% plus in 10th and 12th, and the schools in Singapore like NUS and NTU, they prefer a 95% plus in your 10th and 12th. So, but the admissions in these universities are quite possible for the international students.
Okay.
Krish, the average SAT scores in these universities ranges between in US universities, it ranges between 1400 to 1450, or if you're looking for a school like Wharton and all, so it is around 1550. The kind of SAT scores you're looking at, along with a very good overall profile.
Okay, Rajan, thank you. I'll move to the next slide.
Yeah. In terms of courses in humanities, like someone was asking me courses in economics. So a lot of universities in US offers a bachelor's in economics, like a UCLA, Amherst College. Then UK we have University College London, University of Warwick. Canada again University of Waterloo, British Columbia, very highly ranked universities. In India we have the Ashoka University and Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies. So those are some of the options in economics for you. Similarly, for international relations, for people who want to work in WHO or United Nations later on, they can pursue a career in international relations with universities like John Hopkins, etc., offering these programs. UK has King's College and Edinburgh offering very strong degree in international relations. So is University of Toronto and Windsor and Ashoka University in India. So, Janam, British Columbia is not a French-speaking province. You are not necessarily have to have a French language to seek admission in these universities. So you can obviously learn French when you are there in your program. So French is not an admissions requirement. And obviously, we do help in these universities. Shomu, I believe, will talk more on how we help you towards the application process of these universities in the future slides.
Aditya, I see your message. You're very confused. Please leave your number on the WhatsApp on the chat box. We will get back. So anybody who wants to know more about how to take the test and how to understand which careers and courses to choose, please leave your number on the chat box. Yeah, thanks, Aditya.
Yeah, Shomu, we can move to the next slide.
Okay. So now we just showed you the sisters report. Now let's see how the brother fared. The brother also had a good numerical verbal score, but he also had good numerical and reasoning scores, and so most scores for the brother was good. And as far as the other tests, other parameters are concerned, so he was also between midway between practical and realistic and imaginative, but he was while the sister was very focused and organized, this guy was in the middle. Okay. And if you remember that the sister was a very tough competitive person, this person is somewhere in the middle. And he is also is not neither an introvert or an extrovert. And he is also, while the sister was very sensitive, nervous, and anxious, the brother was a strong, resilient, calm person. So you can see two siblings, in fact, two siblings of two twins, but with different types of personalities. That's what, because we are different human beings. So all of us will have different personalities. And as far as the interest profile goes, here the brother also has high social interest, but he also has very high investigative interest. Okay, he wants to know things. He wants to get into the depth of things. He also has decent enterprising and realistic skills. Okay, so let's see what kind of career cluster fitment was done for the brother. Because of his skills of social skills, language skills, so it is a mix between a career in journalism. He can do that, or he can go to science and maths, engineering and technology, medical sciences. He can choose. So it is up to him what he wants to do. But if he wants to pursue journalism, that's fine. Wants to study engineering, that's also fine. So the options are open in front of him. It is obviously the test does not know what you have to do. The test can only tell you broad indicators of what you can be a good fit at. After that, it is left to the student and his or her parent to decide. So that is what the test can do. So as you see that between two people, how the career options changed just because of their different aptitude, interest, and personality skills scores. Now, like we did for the sister, we are also going to do for the brother. How we have mapped colleges, what the brother can take. And here again, I request Rajan to come. Yeah, Rajan. Rajan, hello. Hello, Rajan. Rajan, can you come in? Please unmute Rajan, Prashant. Prashant, can you unmute Rajan?
So as far as the journalism is concerned, so this guy had an inclination towards that. So some of the good universities which we offered him at US was University of Southern California and Arizona State University, very good schools for your journalism, being on the location of California and Arizona. UK, the University of Leeds and Cardiff, again among top 20. Canada, University of Toronto and Humber College. And India, we had St. Xavier's College and Lady Shriram College for this person for journalism. So those were some of the options that we offered him.
So it's a mix of colleges across the world and also India. That's what we suggest.
Yeah.
Then
the second course choice was science and maths. So no combination of, because the psychology and, as Shomu mentioned, the psychology and both computer science are offered in College of Arts and Science in the US. Not so in UK we had Oxford and Bath University. US we had the Boston University and Rutgers University in New Jersey. Canada we had University of British Columbia and University of Windsor. India we had again Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce and Lady Shriram College. As far as chemistry is concerned, schools like Manchester and Greenwich in UK. And mathematics, we had the top Imperial College, which is among the top 5 colleges in London, and the Durham University. As far as the chemistry is concerned, against UNC Chapel Hill in US and Texas A&M College Station. Princeton University, an Ivy League university in the US as far as the mathematics is concerned. Offering University of Waterloo, York, offering to the student in terms of chemistry and mathematics. And in India, we had the Hindu College and the Maitri College and Ashoka University. So quite varied options in terms of the profile for the student among various countries as far as the science and various options in science and mathematics are concerned for the student.
Okay.
So the third option was engineering. So no, we had the options of mechanical engineering, aerospace, and computer science. So again, universities from across the world, from UK, US, Canada, India, namely King's College, Nottingham, Brunel, Coventry, then UI, UC, and Duke for mechanical in US. UC Berkeley, a very top university, a private, public university in computer science. Georgia Tech and San Jose State University in California again for aerospace. Canada was a combination of Waterloo, University of Alberta, and University of Guelph. And similarly, options in India like NITs, MIT University, SRM, and Delhi Technological University, as far as the engineering and computer science is concerned, was offered to the student as choices for his career.
Thanks, Rajan. Thanks. So as you can see, what we have been trying to do is to give the student a choice between between what are the courses. So we didn't give him an option only for one course. We gave him an option for at least three courses, three career areas. And now it is left to the student how he builds, what he does in his SAT exam or his other entrance exam, and how he builds his profile. So that's where our undergraduate programs come in, where it's a composite program. We help students to prepare for their tests, like some of you are already doing. We do them with the career counseling, like the test which I showed you some time back, where two test results I showed you. And then we help them to build a profile and finally to apply. So, and there are three types of programs. So one is the dream. They're essentially, if you start early, if you start in 9th and 10th, you have 3 or 4 years to work. If you start in class 11th, you have 2 years. And if you start in class 12, you only have 1 year. So essentially, that is the way it works. The components of the program remain same, or let me say more or less same, but because of time, you have more time if you start early. Okay. So let me just quickly run through what if you enroll, somebody enrolls in class 9th or 10th, if what happens is that before class 11, you do all of these, which is basically building a roadmap, taking this test. If you want to take a PSAT, preparing for the PSAT, and then going for a summer program, attending writing workshops which we conduct, and also helping putting a digital footprint. This is very important because whatever you do, whatever extracurricular or other activities you do, it is very important to show and not only tell. If I tell that I'm very good at singing, vis-a-vis I have my own YouTube channel, or I'm very good at acting and I have clips of my theater, anything where I can showcase my talent, or if I say I write well, but if I say that if I can also showcase that in a blog, and today with electronic media, all this is possible. So we help you to create the digital footprint. If you see across before 11, and that continues whether in your academic area or extracurricular area, both areas which we do. And when you come to class 11, you actually take the SAT or ACT, and if required, you take a second attempt. And people who are students who are really academically inclined and want to go to the top universities, they also end up taking the subject tests. We give subjects of maths, physics, chemistry, and then we are also helping summer program guidance. So that's what, if you see over the 3 or 4 years, this is what we do. Finally, when they come to class 11, 12, you are already done with your profile building, you are done with your tests, you now get into university selection, like Rajan pointed out. You build your essays, which is a very important part of showcasing your candidature. You write your application, you apply for scholarships, you plan for the finances, and then you finally get into interviews and visas. Okay. So, and you apply early so that you are, and since you have already done this well in advance, you catch the early deadlines which are around November when you're in class 12 that year. Around November is the early deadline, and the regular deadlines are around in the month of January. So if you apply in November, you are showing the interest that you are interested in the university, and as a student you have planned well. Whereas if you come in class 11th, you do the similar thing, but you do in a little shorter time period. Okay, you do the exact same things, but you do in a shorter time period. It gives us a little less time to work with you, but nevertheless we make you do. So some of you who have just entered in class 11, for you this may be a good time to start on this. Whereas you have about 18 to 20 months in your hand to actually get through this process. So the earlier you start, the better position you are. And finally, when you come to, if you are in class 12, you're just entering class 12, we will do all of this, but we have only about 6 to 7 months to work with you. So in the 6 to 7 months, you have to work very closely with us to get these things done. It's possible, but it will require a lot of effort from your side to complete all the steps. So in short, these are the 3 programs which we run, and so these are some of our students. You can see some of them have gone to some of the programs which we talked of, either maths, or eco, or computer science. They have gone the last year. So these are some of the students. Some people like you only. So we see there's only 4 each year. There are hundreds of people who are going from Jamboree, and it is as I can tell you only one thing: if these people can do it, you can also do it. There is nothing which is not possible, because it just requires you to follow the steps which we will guide you. Take the classes, take the counseling, what the counselors are telling, do that religiously, and you can be there like them. So I can only say that after seeing so many hundreds of students, that it is possible for each and everyone to go to a good university, provided you are and the right course, which is provided you plan well, you understand which area which suit you well, and then take the tests and build up your applications. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. As I said, it would have taken about an hour. It just took an hour, hour and 5 minutes. We started at 5:05. So let me take the questions. Rajan, you can also take some of the questions. I can scroll up. Rajan, can you take some of these criteria for scholarships, SAT? Prashant, can you unmute Rajan, please?
Yeah, Shamu, yeah. Hello.
Hey, Rajan, can you take some of these questions? Then I'll also join wherever you need.
What is the question, Shamu?
Can you see the chat box, Rajan?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question from criteria for scholarships, average SAT scores. So some of these questions, if you can address.
Okay, I'll just going through the chat. So let me just.
Yeah. Anything which you feel you have not covered.
Yeah. So, Pratt, so criteria for scholarships are totally merit based. So merit of your entire application, in terms of your scholarship. So which includes your profile in terms of your SAT scores, your academics of 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. If you are currently in 12th, so your half yearly and predicted grades of 12th, your your essays and LORs that you present in the application, and extracurricular activities. So all these criteria combined determine the scholarship, which are totally merit based. In a lot of US universities, and a lot of universities in the US are quite liberal in giving scholarships at the undergraduate level. So a lot of our students in the past have been able to obtain such scholarships. So as Krish, there's no average SAT for these universities again. But if you're applying for top universities in the US, like in the likes of top, like the Ivy League universities or top 20, so any SAT between a 1500 to 1550 is a good SAT score combined with your good profile in terms of your extracurriculars, and the other aspects of your profile also are important in addition to your SAT scores. And then
please use the chat box. Don't use the Q&A. Please use the chat box for your questions.
So there is another another question that so what to do if you are in 11th. So suppose if Krish, if you are in 11th currently, so there are a lot of things that you can do. You can, as Shomu mentioned, that we in Jamboree also Jamboree also have the profile building exercise through the early entry program that we have, where we also provide you a lot of tips. So no, since you are in class 11th, you can also start preparing on your SAT, because the SAT is the right time to complete in 11th, because when you are in 12th, you will have a lot of things to do. So 11th is the best class for completing your SAT preparations and taking the exam. No, you can also, if you are interested, you can also work towards a summer schools profile. No, you can also build on some of your extracurricular activities. And build on in these 2 years to have a good profile in your application. And there's something called an advanced placement, which really puts students in a good stride while applying to US universities. So it happens only once in May. So you can take the advanced placement exams which are offered by College Board next year in the month of May. So these are some of the activities which you can do right now when you are in class 11th. I believe this is Shivani, right? So Shivani, if you have a YouTube channel, so keep building on those on that channel by putting videos on that channel on the extracurricular activities. You have to build on that channel and have more likes and views on that channel, and you can use that channel later on to provide to the universities. For chemical engineering, again, I would suggest physics. People should have a PCM background. So people with physics, chemistry, maths at the class 11th and 12th should be eligible to apply for chemical engineering. So physics is mandatory for chemical engineering. And there's a student. So Sheetal, you can also leave your number in the chat box, and we can have someone talk to you on the procedure, how to enroll in Jamboree for these programs. And we can have an individual person talking to you on your profile respecting to the procedure enrollment Jamboree.
Hello.
So Bhavya, since you mentioned that since you are currently in class 12th, and if you enroll now for admission counseling, so obviously since you are in 12th, this is the right time to enroll for the counseling. Why? Because you can then start working on your applications and your essays, because most of the essays in the Common App of US universities will be same for this year. So you can start working on that. We can also start working on your profile building in terms of enhancing your application, so that you get in the early advantage of applying to universities in round one, which is the round one deadlines in November. So which are mostly the early action or early decision deadlines. So this is the right time for you to enroll yourself in the admission counseling to have that early advantage. Yeah, Shomu, I think those were the questions, and if I missed, I think we
okay. So there are some things on the Q&A also. I'm just going through some of them. Confused Aditya, we have scholarship, SAT test, 11, COVID. There's a question from about Germany and Japan. You want to take that a little, Rajan? Hello, Rajan. Hello.
Just to give you some sense, as far as the German admissions procedure is concerned, so just to tell everyone who are looking at Germany. So to apply to Germany, a lot of Indian students become not eligible. Why? Because no, the German universities for bachelor's degree require 13 years of education. So in India, we have 10+2, but a lot of universities to apply for Germany bachelor's degrees require an additional year of education. And only after 13 years of education, you can apply for a bachelor's degree in Germany. So a lot of students first do a foundation program and then they go on to start their bachelor's degrees in Germany. Yeah, Shumu.
Yeah, I think we have taken most of these questions, and people, and some of you have left your queries. So I think we have covered most of the questions, and please leave your numbers. We will get back to you in for your specific queries. Okay. Bhavya replied my question. Can you just tell which is the question? Can you type your question, Bhavya, once more? You seem to have missed your question, Bhavya. Harshit, writing workshops are workshops which help you to develop your writing skills, because the applications process where you need to write the essay, you have to write an essays. So then there will multiple essays you have to write in a component application or the university applications. So you know, ability to write clearly and in a way which is acceptable by universities, we conduct these writing workshops.
So Bhavya, you're asking that, you know, there's any course which combines accounting and law. So no, no, as you know, just to tell you that US is the most flexible education system in the world. So you know, even if you start your education, so they even the first 2 years are general education, and it is only in the beginning of the third year you have to choose your specialization. So US universities also give you an option to do double major in the bachelor's degree. So if you are interested in both law and your engineering, so you can take maybe some courses from business and some courses from liberal arts, and you will be eligible, and you can do a double major in this, and you will be eligible to to take up both these subjects at the undergraduate level in accounting as well as law at the US universities.
Okay, there's a question about digital footprints. We have answered digital footprints. Advanced placement, no, we don't. We tell you which courses. We don't teach advanced placement. We tell you which courses to follow. There are courses available, online courses available. We tell you which courses to follow on advanced placement. Scholarships, what all scholarships, that we have a portal. If you sign up for the program, you will get to see all the scholarships available. One second, let me see other chat questions. Board exam, UPSC, confused to take, please take our career counseling test. Aditi, leave your number, we will get back, or you can come on to Jamboree website and you can go to the career counseling section and leave your number there also. And pilot course, if I have commerce, maths and science are required for being for being in the pilot, becoming a pilot. So that's the requirement in most countries. AP top 20 colleges, yes, you can take it. If you want top 20 colleges, it's good that if you are planning for an AP. Postponed, admissions have not. So you guys, for you guys, there is, you are anyway in class 12. For you, it's next year. If you are 11th, it's only people who are passing out this year. For them, it may start, it will be delayed. But for you guys, there is no problem. Predicted score? No, you have to give your predicted score. Soham, your school has to give your, because when the time you apply, your final board results have not come. So your school has to give a predicted score. Banking job, banking can have, you can do many types of jobs in banking. You can do a sales and marketing job. You can do a job where you manage the money of people. You can work in treasury. You can work in the insurance department of banks. So you can do many things in bank. So it depends on what kind of bank. So banks has lots of opportunities, Deepak. So it depends on what kind of jobs. So if you take an HDFC bank or an ICICI bank, they do all kinds of financial stuff. So everything, right from credit cards to loans to insurance, everything the banks do. Yeah, so jamboreeindia.com/career counseling. You can go there and register for the test. I think Prashant just put it up, jamboreeindia.com/career-counseling. Thanks, Rajesh. Thanks, Rajesh, for your feedback. Kathy, I didn't get your question. Can you repeat, Kathy? SAT not required for fall 2021 admission. I don't think that is officially out. In some schools are making it optional, but top schools it's best to prepare for SAT and keep that handy. You anyway have time. Sociology is a very important field of study, and you have options all across the world. In India, you have got options. You've got options in the US, everywhere, because it's a very important field of study. So you've got very good liberal arts colleges across the world teaching you sociology. Prashanti. Oh, subject chemical engineering. You don't study physics. It's okay if you don't study. Give a subject test in chemistry and maths, and if possible English. That's okay. You don't have to give for physics. If you are not studying physics, don't try to learn physics and give subject test now. Digital footprints. Digital footprints are basically some place where you showcase your work digitally, whether it's a blog or a YouTube channel, anything where you kind of showcase what you do, so that for the application, the department or the admissions department in universities are able to see you're not only telling them, you're also showing them. So anything which you do to showcase. So if you have video recordings of programs where you have done, put them at one place. Anything which you can show digitally. I have registered India one action inside it. Should I continue? It's better. It doesn't help if you take one action. If you are serious about it, then only talk about it. If you have done only one action, they are going to figure out that you're not serious once. To your pursue sociology, what can be done? Public speaker too. It's you do well in your class 12. Get into a sociology course. For being a public speaker, you have got very good forums like Toastmasters. You can join Toastmasters, Prashanti. But first, do your bachelor's from a good college. Participating in MUN, yes, it counts. MUN really counts. Tests, Prashanti, you can write an SAT, and so other than the colleges, US colleges or the Canadian colleges, 30 Indian universities are now taking SAT. So all the likes like Ashoka, Flame, Narsi Monji, Jindal, all of them take SAT. So you can pursue, if you pursue in India, you can also pursue through these colleges. Toastmasters is a forum. You can Google it up. It helps people to develop their public speaking skills. Volleyball player not getting second opportunity selection. What should I do? Once, as long as you're a national volleyball player and you're not getting selected, as far as the university applications is concerned, that you are a national volleyball player is good. If you're not getting selected, that is something which is not a purview of this discussion. You have to try harder or maybe change your coach or whatever, I don't know. But for university application, the fact that you are a national level player, it really matters. Okay, I think we have Rajan, can you take that? Do you have cultural scholarships abroad?
Prashant, no, there are general scholarships like merit-based scholarships, and some are need-blind and need-based scholarships in the US. But there are no cultural scholarships in US in abroad. Some schools in UK do have special scholarships for Indian students, but otherwise, there are no cultural scholarships available abroad.
Yeah, Sheetal. Yeah, all of this works. All of this works. All of this works. Anything which you have done outside, you need to. If you have worked for a TV show, get somebody to write about it. When you get your letter of recommendations. Letter of recommendations are a very important part of the application process. When you get your letter of recommendation, get a recommendation from somebody who you worked with in the TV show.
So Bhagya, merit-based scholarships are not only a factor of GPA and SAT. Obviously, these two things are also important because both SAT and GPA covers close to 60 to 65% of your application. But apart from that, things like strong essays, letter of recommendations from your teachers, extracurricular activities also have a 30 to 40% weightage in your profile. So all these factors also are important in judging merit-based scholarships from the universities. Prashanti, as Shomu mentioned that, anything that you can do apart from your academics, be it extracurricular activities in terms of NGOs, sports, debates, quiz competitions, Toastmasters, maybe, highlighting some of your hobbies. So anything, which you feel can highlight in your profile. So that can really add value to your CV and make it more stronger. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy, for your feedback.
So Harshi, you can go on Toastmasters on Google, and they mostly help you improve your communication and leadership skills. So you can be a member of that, and that is a really good extracurricular activities you can also showcase in your application profile. You just have to go on a website on the Toastmasters, just contact them, and they will guide you further on the procedure on how you can be associated with them.
Harshit, it is a club. It is a club. It's a club you join. So this club meets every weekend. So you go there, you participate. They will give you some topics to speak. Either you speak impromptu or you prepare at home and you go to speak for a couple of minutes. And you speak in front of an audience, and they will also help you to improve. So they will find where you went wrong, where you need to improve, and they will be experienced people who will guide you and help you to improve, so that the next time you speak, you don't make these mistakes. Okay, Harshit?
Yeah. So Sheetal, apart from FTI, there's a very good school in New York called New York Film Academy, NYFA, which is very good in terms of you can hone your acting skills and also earn a degree in acting. So New York Film Academy is one which you can look at. And so again, Rosie, if you took part in national essay competition and you are also one of the winners, it is very good. That's a very good, strong activity which you can showcase in your profile, and that would give you good brownie points in your profile, because that's a good extracurricular national essay competition that you can add in your profile. It does count.
Okay, so we are at 6:30 now. I think we have covered about 1.5 hours in this. Anyway, if you have any further questions, if you have not left your number and you want more questions answered, you want to take the career counseling test, you want to get into know more about DCT, EEP, REP programs which we spoke of, please leave your number and then we can close the session. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thank you all. It was a real pleasure having you on board. Some very, very interesting questions. Yes, Shweta, thank you. We've got your number. Okay, thanks, Kendrick. Thanks, Kendrick. Okay, Swati, thank you. Thanks, Harshay. Good. You can also, Prashant, you can just type that career counseling wala URL once more, and then we can. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Vansh. Thank you, Harshit. It was lovely having you. Okay, guys, we are now going to close the session. And on behalf of Rajan and Prashant, thank all of you for you being taking your time out and being a very interactive audience. We love you, love having this session with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and we at Jamboree wish you all the best for your careers and education, and stay safe, and all the best. Bye. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Shomu. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.